On an unremarkable clay tennis court in the Spanish city of Alicante, watched on by only a handful of spectators, two teenagers swiped the ball to one another with surprising vigor, belying their scrawny, adolescent frames. The ages of each player, one 17, the other just 15, suggest that this is unlike most other matches on the ATP's Challenger Tour, a stepping-stone circuit for those looking to join tennis elite. Over the course of 3 back-and-forth sets, it's the younger protagonist who emerges victorious after an hour and 50 minutes. His name is Carlos Alcaraz, and his opponent, another future world #1 named Jannik Sinner. This match took place more than 6 years ago, the first meeting of a rivalry which now looks destined to define the current era of men's tennis. The match was a rollercoaster for us, Alcaraz told CNN Sports last year about his memories of facing Sinner for the first time, an appropriate precursor for what was to come. This rivalry has already seen more ups and downs and twists and turns than anyone in that thinly populated crowd could have imagined at the time. After the match, we went to the same locker room because I wanted to get to know him, Sinner said in the same interview last year. He was just an amazing talent already back in the day. You could see straight away that he was a very, very special player. Alcaraz and Sinner, a duo now affectionately dubbed Sincaraz by fans, have met 14 times on the main ATP Tour since then, nearly always in high-stakes semi-finals and finals so far. It's Spain's Alcaraz who leads the nascent rivalry with 9 wins to Sinner's 5, but the Italian is the current world #1, having occupied the top spot in the rankings since June last year. The pair have shared the last 7 Grand Slams between them, 4 to Sinner and 3 to Alcaraz, and, barring an injury or shock defeat, seem on a collision course to face each other in the US Open final on September 7th. Alcaraz plays big-serving American Riley Opelka in the first round on Monday, while Sinner, having recovered from the illness which forced him to retire from the Cincinnati Open final against Alcaraz, faces Czech Republic's Vít Kopriva on Tuesday. The dust has barely settled from the tripartite rivalry between Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, but now tennis fans are left with an eerie sense of history repeating itself. Here is another matchup likely to preside over the men's game for years to come. Already, Alcaraz and Sinner have produced several matches worthy of a movie script: a 3 a.m. finish in the US Open quarterfinals back in 2022, a 3-hour, 21-minute slugfest at last year's China Open, and, to top them all, the longest French Open final in history earlier this year, with Alcaraz somehow triumphing from 2 sets and then 3 championship points down. But it's not just their knack for producing such absorbing contests that makes this rivalry so fascinating. It's also their contrasting styles of play and on-court personas. With Sinner, I think it was something I saw in the quality of his ball striking, says Nathan. More specifically, it's something I heard because, if you're lucky enough to watch Jannik Sinner play up close, it sounds unlike anything I've ever heard on a tennis court. In the book, I compare it to a firearm or a vehicle backfiring. It's just a spectacular sound. And for all their obvious differences, Alcaraz the showman, Sinner calm and understated, Alcaraz flashy and unpredictable, Sinner steady and reliable. Nathan has also been struck by just how much these two men have in common. Both are mild-mannered, close to their families and extremely dedicated to the pursuit of tennis excellence. Both lead quite monk-like and ascetic lives, according to Nathan, contrary to Alcaraz's Ibiza-going, party-animal reputation, and have a genuine respect for one another. The similarities also extend to what they do on the court. I think what distinguished them was their excellence in ground strokes, their movement and their ability to not just be quick and get to balls, but even when they're reaching for that far-away ball, to be able to uncoil and hit that ball 100 miles per hour, adds Nathan. That combination of being offensive from defensive court positions is very rare. It distinguished, I think, Federer, Nadal and Djokovic in their tennis. And I think these guys are, in a sense, taking it up a half-notch in at least the power that they have. Certainly, the temperamental differences are quite clear to any fan or observer. Giri Nathan, author of Changeover, a new book on the rivalry between Alcaraz and Sinner, tells CNN Sports. Carlos loves to spring for spectacle on the tennis court. He likes to find that ingenious shot that is never tried before, and is almost cheeky in the way he tries to get away with new flourishes. With Jannik, it's a little more methodical. Personally, I find them both captivating to watch in different ways. Nathan started working on his book in late 2023. By then, Alcaraz had already established himself as the most exciting and explosive talent in tennis, winning major titles at the US Open and Wimbledon. Betting on Sinner's adjacent rise at that time, however, was more of a gamble. Comparisons with Federer, Nadal and Djokovic, the so-called Big Three of men's tennis, will likely be inescapable throughout the careers of Alcaraz and Sinner. Such has been the neatness with which one rivalry replaced the other. As the game's latest rivalry develops, tennis fans will watch with interest to see if it follows the same pattern of 2 becoming 3, perhaps even 4. Djokovic was a late arrival to the Federer-Nadal rivalry, while Andy Murray also battled his way into contention for a seat at the table, beating the big three more than any other player. A genuine third cast member has yet to emerge in the Alcaraz-Sinner show, but there are possible contenders. João Fonseca, a 19-year-old from Brazil who won his first ATP Tour title in February, is a candidate, as are American Ben Shelton and Great Britain's Jack Draper, both contemporaries of Alcaraz and Sinner who have enjoyed deep runs at Grand Slams. I feel like there's this huge void now where Sinner and Alcaraz are floating kind of above the fray, but there's huge opportunities for whichever player can emerge into that kind of upper-middle-class zone, says Nathan, adding that it's entirely possible that the true contender who can hang with these two guys is maybe still 15, 14, 16 years old. In between an aging Djokovic and players like Daniil Medvedev and Alexander Zverev, part of the unenviable generation to follow the big three, unable to meet the extraordinary standards of Alcaraz and Sinner, tournaments sometimes feel like a two-horse race. But an interloper to this rivalry, Nathan believes, would make the men's game more compelling and bring out new emotional texture to the friendly feud shared by Alcaraz and Sinner. The pair are cordial to each other on and off the court, even sharing a private jet together after last year's China Open final. I've been hearing from fans that they want a little more beef there, and they want a little bit more teeth bared in this rivalry because it is super congenial, says Nathan. There is something fun as a fan when there's that seed of genuine hostility, and I wonder if it'll enter this rivalry ever.